Hello guys, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Naz, this is my buddy Jake, and we are going to be talking about the latest film by Ridley Scott called The Last Duel.
This movie basically takes place in medieval times, 1370 to their ending fight is 1390.
Yeah, about 20 years.
Yeah, so the entire story spans a range of about 20 years. It's supposedly based on real events about Lady Marguerite claiming to be raped by Jacques Legris, who was supposedly friends with Jean de Carouge, who was Lady Marguerite's husband.
The movie is basically split into 3 chapters. There's the first chapter that's shown is Jean de Carouge's point of view. The second chapter is Jacques Legris' point of view, and then the third point of view is Lady Marguerite's point of view, which the film explicitly says, it's the truth. Mm-hmm. Which is the truth. It's also important to note that Jean de Carouge and Jacques Legris were longtime friends before the movie even begins, and it still shows their friendship at the very beginning part of the movie, but then things happen, there's tension that ensues, and Ben Affleck's character has a lot to do with that tension, that the rift that's caused between Jean de Carouge and Jacques Legris, which plays a lot into The Last Duel. So we have Jean de Carouge. He's a very honorable knight. He has a very well-known family name, and he views himself to be a very noble man and has a lot of integrity and carries himself that way as well.
Yeah. The next we got his friend Jacques Legris. He's super charismatic, super outgoing, huge ladies' man, wickedly smart. He has a great mind. He didn't come from a family name, though, unlike Jean de Carouge. So Adam Driver, Jacques Legris, he had to work hard to gain the intelligence he has, to study, practice languages, learn financial things, which he helps Count Pierre with. And so, because he has this aspect of him learning everything by himself, he's very prideful and arrogant and thinks he's owed everything in turn. So he's kind of like a self-made man, you could say. Super arrogant, super close with Count Pierre, Ben Affleck, while Jean de Carouge is not liked well at all by Ben Affleck's character.
Then you also have one of the other main characters, Lady Marguerite. She is, if you just look at her, she's so gorgeous. Yeah.
Drop dead
gorgeous. Yeah, that's a good looking woman. Hell of an actress too.
Oh yeah.
In the movie, she's a very intelligent woman. She has a noble family name, and original owners of the Dowery, which is a piece of land that it has a lot to do with what happens in the movie. She's very kind, very respectable, always tries to do the correct thing. Just a good, genuine person, which unfortunately bad things happen to. Alright guys, let's get into the movie. We noticed subtle and major differences from each of the characters' point of view while they were all happening at the same time. So there's one scene where 3 characters are shown, and the movie kind of goes back and forth of showing each character's point of view and what was going on in their mind while everything was going on. At first, there's the opening battle scene where Jean de Carouge and Jacques Legris are both knights, and they have their men behind them, and they're wanting to go into battle.
It's their first flashback, so it's 1370. It's when Adam Driver and Matt Damon are younger and friends. Matt Damon, from his perspective, charges into battle valiantly. His men follow him faithfully. He saves Jacques Legris' life. He's this epic hero. And so that's how he views it from his perspective.
So then, on the other hand, we see Jacques Legris' point of view later on in the movie, where actually we see Jean de Carouge's character just go off into battle on his own and kind of looks like an idiot, just going into battle on his own.
Dumb,
he just kind of expects the men to follow him into battle, so he's just off. He goes off on his horse, just goes into battle, and then Jacques Legris in the back talking to the other captains like, should we follow him? He's like, yeah, he's gonna die if we don't follow him. And then they charge off right after him. So
just
that's what actually happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just one difference that the movie shows us, where it's very subtle, but you see more of what's going on in the characters' point of views and what's going on in their minds. So later on in the movie, we see that there is an important piece of land that a lot of the characters are basically wanting to own. We see Jean de Carouge, after he marries Lady Marguerite, promises him that the land will be his. Whereas on Adam Driver's side, it's Count Pierre who now owns the land because it was paid to him in sort of a debt.
Mm-hmm. So then Count Pierre, as a gift to Adam Driver, gives Adam Driver that plot of land that was promised to Matt Damon by his father-in-law for his dowry. And so that's really where the rift between Legris and Jean Le Carrouge kind of starts. Mm-hmm. That's where it starts, and it just gets worse from there. A year later, they're trying to settle this rift, put it behind him. Jacques Legris invites Lady Marguerite and Jean Le Carrouge to his house, and when they're there, and you see this from each and every perspective, all three parts of the movie, Jacques Legris has not yet seen Lady Marguerite. And so when he introduces her, he gives her a kiss. And this is extremely different from each point of view. From Matt Damon's point of view, it's just a quick little peck. Wow.
On the lips, by the way.
Yeah.
On lips. This is why I did it backhand. Yeah. So just a quick peck. That's just how Matt Damon says it.
Quick peck on the lips. From Legris' perspective, chapter 2,
she lingers.
She lingers. It's like
lingers.
We'll demonstrate right now. Just and then from her perspective, he tries to kind of like put a little ton in there a little bit, kind of, right?
Yeah, it was tries to like from her perspective.
But she just wanted him to peck. Yeah,
who lingers.
Yeah,
the camera focuses on each of the characters differently, and then you see it slightly differently, which is how they did it was brilliant.
Yes.
So right after that quick kiss is the party scene. We see from Adam Driver's side, we see that Lady Marguerite is looking at him kind of in a seductive way, that she's kind of flirting with him. And then he talks to his friend about it and how she's like making eyes at him from across the room, and then that she's totally hitting on him. That's what he's seeing in his mind. But from her perspective, while she was across the room, she was just looking at him just to be friendly, let bygones be bygones sort of thing. She's just trying to be friendly. And then we see that later from her perspective.
That's also important. This party scene is also important because it's where, from Jacques Legris' chapter 2, in his mind, because Lady Marguerite is smart, he's attracted to her because she's known as being very smart and intelligent. They have like a little exchange in German.
They had a banter.
Just because they both can talk in German, so it's like, oh, you can, me too, blah, blah, let's say something. So, they have that instant connection. He's instantly like, oh, she must be flirting with me or something.
So there's a point in the movie where Jean de Carrouge leaves for a while, and then all of the servants are taken by Jean de Carrouge's mother. They all leave. It's only Lady Marguerite who's just by herself at their home. Unbeknownst to her at this point, while Jean de Carrouge is on leave, Jacques Legris is on his way to their home to, basically go there and confess his love for her. And whenever he actually gets there, he gets on his knees. He says, like, everything that I own is yours, just be mine, that sort of thing. And we see Lady Marguerite. Yeah, I love you. He says, I love you.
I love you, my love.
And then we see Lady Marguerite being like, why are you saying these things to me? You need to leave now.
Yeah, you can't be here.
Yeah, you can't be here. So from Jacques Legris' perspective, we see this scene as her kind of being flirty. Yes. Kind of playing hard to get. That's what the scene kind of comes across as. It kind of showed from his perspective that she was leading him on to come to her room.
That's how he viewed it.
Yeah, that's how Jacques Legris viewed it.
But from her perspective, later we see the shoes definitely just fell off because she was trying to hurry so fast.
She was trying to haul ass.
She bolted up the stairs because she was trying to get away from him. Everything he sees from her is just a sign like, I want you,
like an invitation.
Yeah, but it's definitely not.
Yeah, we see later.
We see it for sure. From her perspective, it's not at all. This was definitely like the most cringy part of the movie to watch, and not only watch once, but you rewatch it. You watch it twice. The actual rape scene, because it's shown in Legris' story, and then it's shown in Marguerite's perspective later on too.
It's horrible.
Yeah, and
horrible. Watching it twice.
Yeah,
watch it twice.
Mm-hmm. And they don't take shortcuts. One of the aspects that stood out to me that was different in both of the rape scenes was from Legris' perspective, the time that he like is kind of playing with her around the table. So there's this centerpiece in the middle of her room where she runs upstairs to, and Jacques Legris is like chasing her around the table as he did earlier in the movie with one of like his like the hose at the
yeah, the hose at the time.
One of the hose
concubine.
One of the concubines at Count Pierre's mansion or whatever.
Yeah.
So that same thing is shown here where they're around this centerpiece. And she's trying to run away from him and escape, and he's just kind of this playful, like, I'm gonna catch you. I'm gonna catch you. Oh, you go this way. I'm gonna go this way. You go this way. I'm gonna go this way. So he sees it completely like, oh, she's playing a game. I'm just gonna catch her.
Which is in reality took a couple of minutes.
Yes,
and then foreplay.
Yeah,
And from her perspective,
it was like a minute. It was like she was all she was thinking was, I need to get out of here. And so that just shows you, maybe because the amount of time, like it felt so short to her was because she was so, in stress mode, the adrenaline, her heart was probably beating super fast, obviously. So those kinds of things made times go by really, really short for her.
After the rape scene, Jean de Carouge comes home, and then Lady Marguerite tells him, by the way, your friend came here and raped me here in our house. And we do see this from Jean de Carouge's perspective whenever she did the revelation to him. We see him in his perspective. He's very caring. He looks very worried. Like, oh my gosh, what happened? Are you okay? Is this true? We're gonna fight this. We're gonna figure it out. But then again later we see in the third chapter, which is Lady Marguerite's perspective, he was more violent. He accused her of lying a little bit.
Grabbed her by the neck.
He grabbed her by the neck, maybe.
He was like, are you lying? Like, tell me the truth.
Yeah, he was very violent about the revelation. Since Jean de Carouge did not want the last man to have her was Jacques Legris, he basically told Lady Marguerite, hey, you're gonna get on this bed right now and we're gonna have sex.
The court hearing where they bring, so this is a very serious accusation that Lady Marguerite is making against Legris.
And she cannot do it herself because at that time she's a woman, so she has her husband, Jean de Carouge, do it for her. Especially
because of Legris' status. Like, he's known as this, super intelligent, noble guy, high exalted squire, friend of the Count, obviously. Because of the accusations, Jean de Carouge was going to challenge Legris to a duel. So they would both fight to the death. So they have this trial. They bring Lady Marguerite there, and they're questioning her just like, okay, do you enjoy sex with your husband? And we might think, oh, why are they asking her that? And that time, apparently, it was thought that you cannot conceive a child unless the woman also orgasmed.
Yeah, I believe the line was, all right, everyone, we all know that you cannot get pregnant through rape. It's just science.
It's science.
That's kind of what the line was in the movie. And it was funny, but it was wrong.
Yeah. And the reason I guess that they thought that was because they thought if someone's being raped, then they obviously aren't going to have the pleasure, they called it.
Speaking of, at this trial, she's pregnant, by the way. She's pregnant with Jacques Legris' child. We see her,
and it's visible because this trial is months after the rape.
Yeah.
Too.
So she is with child at this point. Jacques Legris' child.
Yep.
And at this point in time, they believe that whoever wins the duel is whoever God's side is on. So if you win the duel, God's on your side, and you're telling the truth. And if you lost, God was not on your side.
This final battle scene, guys, between Legris and Jean de Carouge, they battle it out. Everyone's present, obviously, and Lady Marguerite is her ankles are chained because if Legris wins, then she's going to be burned alive and dragged through the streets, basically. So she's nervous, obviously, and this is in front of everyone. They start out by jousting.
Big stadium.
Huge stadium. It kind of reminded me of A Knight's Tale,
a little bit.
Kind of like the look there. And then they go hand to hand. It's pretty rough. I mean, what I loved about this movie too was the audio in the fight scenes. It's extremely loud in the theaters, but it's great kind of guttural, like the clinging of metal on metal.
Very
you know?
Game of Thrones kind of vibe.
Yeah. Battle was freaking awesome, obviously. Legree ends up at one point getting a knife. He stabs Matt Damon, like, right in the inside of the thigh.
And we thought he was done.
Yeah, you basically think he's done right there because you're like, oh, that's a vital artery probably. Like, he's probably going to bleed out and die in the next, 5 minutes. He comes back. Jean de Cruz is kind of known as, like, the best fighter there is, you know. So he comes back, and he has them, like...
First he does, like, a reverse move, and then cuts Jacques Legree's leg, I believe.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, so they're both injured.
Legree's leg, they're both injured. And then Matt Damon crawls on top of him like this with the blade, like, kind of pointing towards his face. And then he's yelling at him like, "Did you do it? Did you?" And Jacques Legree is so deceived.
He's so arrogant.
Yeah. And so self-deceived. He still says, when he's about to die, he says, "I didn't rape her.
I didn't do it."
And so he yells at...
I swear or something.
Yeah. He says, like, "May I burn in hell if I did," or something like that. And then right after he says that, Matt Damon does this wicked awesome move where he's like, "Well, then burn in hell,"
or whatever he says.
Yeah, or whatever he says. And then he puts himself on his side.
Yeah.
So Adam Driver's head is on his side.
Like this. So my head is like this, and then Jean de Carouge is right here, and then his leg is here, and then his hand is here.
Yeah.
And then basically he uses his leg to
like push Adam Driver's head into the blade, like through his mouth. And it's just like boom. Like, it's crazy.
Just like that.
And it was pretty awesome.
It was brutal. Absolutely brutal. It was awesome. But horrible.
Awesome and horrible. And then they, you know, because Legree lost, they hang his body up naked and drag it through the streets to just, you know, shame him, because apparently God was on
Jean de Carouge's
side, so he won. So
and Lady Marguerite does not have to be set on fire.
Yes. And then at the end of all that,
they ride off into the sunset,
Jean de Cruz is, like, blessing babies.
Yeah,
like,
they're greeted. There's crowds,
you know?
everywhere. They're greeted like heroes.
Yeah.
We see one final scene, I think years later. We see Lady Marguerite and her now child, who's just a couple years old, just on a meadow, just by a tree, just chilling, just hanging out.
And it also mentions there that Jean de Cruz apparently died, like, 5 years later.
In the Crusades.
So,
and that she never remarried.
And she never remarried, apparently, yeah. Long story short, this movie was it was freaking great. It was really good. Dramatic, obviously, great cast of actors, great acting from everyone, absolutely everyone. Specifically, though, a standout to is definitely Adam Driver. Adam Driver and Comer kind of make the movie.
He gives off very Kylo Ren vibes. It's hard not to see Kylo Ren in there whenever he's, like, shutting doors and walking.
Oh, yeah.
It's just... Whenever we see him, he's just Kylo Ren to us. But yeah,
he's tall. He's built broad, you know. So he's just he's a freaking great actor. The writing is excellent. It's very well paced. Ridley Scott did a great job. It's a freaking great. It's probably, like, his best movie in a long while.
Definitely, for sure.
I mean, it's up there with, like, Kingdom of Heaven, you know. I mean, not quite Gladiator status, but I mean, it's freaking great.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's really up there, and it's nice to see something great from him, because he's kind of hit and miss.
Some other things that we have heard about this movie is that this is a feminist movie, or that this is a Me Too kind of movie, because how it, like, shows the movie empowering women or something like that. And while there may be some nugget of truth in there, us personally, we didn't really see that they were going for that. We just saw a great movie.
It's a great overall movie. Yeah.
Just a great movie, great storytelling from all perspectives of the characters. We just from a film fan point of view, we just absolutely loved the movie. Absolutely loved the movie. Another unfortunate thing that we did hear is the movie is not making any money, which is very unfortunate, because the movie's freaking awesome.
Yeah, and it's sad because it's getting bad press, and even got that same kind of press before it was even released. But if you guys would just go see it, it's awesome. Awesome. One of the best movies this year.
We cannot recommend this movie enough. That whole final battle. Both Jake and I were just in our seats like
what's gonna happen?
What's gonna happen? Yeah. What's gonna happen? It's an edge of your seat experience. If I was to grade this movie, I would give it a letter grade of an A.
And I'd give it my 1 to 10 scale grade of 8.5. Definitely, like it's definitely up there. It's so good, yeah.
That'll do it for our review. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We'll see you on the next video.